Hey guys, and go for a little bit of a ride. Gotta be good light on that strap. That jaw's still just a touch tender from that tooth pulling. From the tooth pulling. So there you go. I got the Harley back. It's running, and that's the new motor. New to me, new motor. I got my old man cushion seat. Moves me up a little bit better like I like. Oh, they zip tied it. Well, alright. I don't care for that, but we'll leave it. I gotta be honest, the exhaust note with Grandpa's motor on it, that high compression Screaming Eagle, was really sharp and cracky because it was a high compression motor. This one sounds a lot better, I think. It's more throaty, it's deeper. I like that. I never really cared for the sharp pop and crack of that other one. Grandpa's bell. So yeah, got the Harley back, $3,200 later. That engine we got off eBay seems to be doing all right. I've only put 23 miles on it, 8 on this tank. We'll see what kind of fuel economy we get on this bike now. It makes some different noises and it does some things differently. Basically it is a whoa, hey, yeah, let's not go there, huh? So basically this is a stock twin cam 88 balanced motor, very smooth running for Harleys. I think they're pretty good, but they've got some flaws in them, as we found out. The timing chain or cam chain tensioner is a weak point in these motors. The cam bearings are a weak point in these motors. The fact that, well, I guess you could call that a strength and a feature. They are very good at turning gasoline into noise without the pesky side effect of horsepower. They're really good at that. So, and that is a lot of, man, that thing's loud. That's a noise that it's making. The exhaust is deeper now, and it doesn't have that high compression pop, that snap crackle pop that the thing used to make. And I always thought that it was really sharp, you know, and high pitched, kind of a cracked with a bass note in it. Now you just have the bass note. I think it sounds a lot better, to be honest. I think it sounds a lot better than it did with this engine. According to the dyno charts, and I will roll those in here for you. According to the dyno charts, looks like it made 15 more horsepower with the Screaming Eagle thing. And, you know, is 15 more horsepower a lot? At one point I kind of thought it said 9. I read it wrong, so I was mistaken. Whoever I said that to, there were a couple of people I said it to. I apologize. I wasn't trying to lie to you or play it down. I just was mistaken. I went back and looked at them again. It looks like 15 horsepower, 14 horsepower, I think. Well, you're looking at it, you can see the baseline reading on that chart, and then the what it was with the Screaming Eagle. I'm thinking that's what that means. I don't know. If you know how to read dynamometer, dynograph charts, whatever you call that thing, a dyno, where they measure what the engine and the vehicle will do. If you know how to read those better than me and I'm getting it wrong, comment down below. Let me know, and I'll look into it more. I really don't care. I'm not a race monkey. I don't need to go fast. I never have really give a flip about that stuff. The whole time that I had Grandpa's bike, the whole time I had it, there's probably on one hand the number of times that I opened it up and absolutely screamed with it and went going, you know. Like how I'm kind of putting around right now, and you probably have seen that if you've seen me riding this bike on the channel, the few videos I put it in there. I just kind of putt around with this thing. That's really all I do. I'm gonna say 5, not 10, nowhere near 10, 5, 6, 7 times maybe, probably less than 5 that I've just absolutely opened it up. 2 of those times, one I almost crashed and or died. And the other time is the only time in 25 years that I've crashed a motorcycle. I mean, outside of, you know, low speed dropping them, and I don't count off-road riding. I dumped the BMW a few times, quite a few times, out in the dirt. I really enjoyed that bike. What a great motorcycle. I just can't afford it anymore is the only problem. It's a fantastic bike. I loved it to death. I don't know what the deal was with the clutch. It stopped doing that. It got back to right. I think there's a possibility I overfilled it with oil at one point, and maybe it leaked that oil out and got in the clutch somehow. It wasn't doing it when I sold it, I know that, because I was all set to take the bike apart and do all that stuff. I even had help lined out, somebody who actually knows how to do it. Shout out Dave. I always did appreciate you offering that. It was pretty cool. It's good to have buddies, I'll tell you. Who was it? Carl Pilkington did that Idiot Abroad series. I like those. I didn't like the last one. It was stupid. Him wearing furry suits and dressing up like a woman. That's too much, dude. Cut it out. Quit being woke. Anyway, Carl Pilkington said you only really need 2 or 3 good mates to help get you through life, you know. Somebody that be there for you, somebody that you can be there for. You know, any more than that's a burden. Yeah. I don't necessarily agree with the quantity, but I do agree with the idea of the quality of friends. I hope you can hear that. This thing sounds really good. It sounds a lot better to me than it used to. I used to wear earplugs. Well, let me reiterate. I still wear earplugs and earbuds when I'm riding with that little half helmet, because the wind whistles around the straps and right into my ear. The earplugs are not there to quiet the road noise. They're there to keep the wind out of my ear canal. So, but like riding this bike, if I wore a full face helmet, which was pretty rare, which is what I'm doing now, and the only reason I'm doing it is so I can mount the camera and talk. Yeah, the earplugs, you know, dampen that harsh pop, that high-pitched pop. Anyway, yeah, Dave was going to help me with that. Man, I'm wandering all over talking-wise. Dave was going to help me with that bike, and I didn't need to do it after all, because the thing was running just fine. It stopped slipping, the clutch stopped slipping. This guy's going to want to go. Those cars are just gorgeous. I love the way they look. Anyway, yeah, I like that bike. I just couldn't afford it anymore. This is in the same class, the same genre of, I just can't afford this, you know? You can't put an engine in a motorcycle every 30,000 miles, you know? And if that's going to be the thing, then I've got 10,000 miles on this bike before this engine gives up, because it's got 20,000 on it. But and then there's the other side of it too. Plenty of people run a twin cam 88 all the way to 80, 90, 100,000 miles without any problems. And I think if we go in later and upgrade the bearings and upgrade the this and the that and the whatever it needs to make it run forever, it'd probably be fine. But this bike's an 04. This bike is an 04, and everything else on it is aging. The rubber bushings are kind of looking crappy. They need to be pulled apart and redone, all that stuff. And I'm not just a Harley guy, and I'm just not a Harley guy, especially after this little episode. This cost me $3,200 that I really just don't have. I'm still angry. I'll be honest, I'm really angry that happened. I'm really angry the way it happened. I'm really angry that it happened. I'm mad at the brand more than anything. I don't know. And I've been trash talking a lot online, and I probably should stop doing that. But it's time for this bike to go. I'm going to pull the nickels out of the side. Here's a picture of the nickels. One side, they're both 1926 Buffalo nickels. One side has the Indian Chief head, the other side has the Buffalo, and they're in the handlebar risers. And Grandpa's done that on every bike he's had since forever, since going back how far I don't know exactly, but anyway, yeah, he's done that on all of them, and I think it's cool. Really, I do. They fit, why not, He also did the bells. I'm not a road gremlin superstition kind of guy, but that's Grandpa's bell, Grandpa's bike, right? Anyway, yeah, it's... Every time I've thought about selling this thing, I kind of balk on it, and I think it's time for it to go. I just can't afford to keep running these things. They're too expensive. That Royal Enfield's perfect. Well, it was perfect because we had dealer support here. We don't have that anymore, so I'm honestly considering selling it too. I really am. I haven't decided completely yet. Same thing here. I really like that bike. I like riding it around town. This bike is not comfortable. I'm sitting on this cushion seat. It does not lift me up quite far enough. It does not set me quite far enough forward. And it's just, the bike's uncomfortable. It's not a comfortable bike to ride. Everybody says, well, drop your handlebars back a little bit. No, you don't understand. If I were setting 1 more inch higher and 1 more inch more forward, my body weight would be centered with the bike. This thing would handle and sit like a dream. My legs are, here they're just about right. Where they're at, they're just about right. If I were just a little bit more up and a little bit, maybe just a little more forward, I'm not 100% certain, but it would, be more comfortable. It would be a lot more comfortable. And then for just around town, it's fine, except for it's loud as heck. And it only gets like 35 miles to the gallon. I saw somebody complaining on one of the Ural forums that Urals only get 40 miles to the gallon, and that's just not acceptable for a motorcycle. What? The BMW only ever got, 42 on its best day, I think. There's nothing wrong with 40 miles to the gallon on a motorcycle. Is 70 miles to the gallon better? Yes, but are you going to have the kind of power that you need to know? That being said, old Sam's riding that Royal Enfield all over hell and back, and he's doing just fine. He rode with the group the other day and kept up just fine. I didn't see where he was struggling at all. So there's that, It is a gorgeous day out today. It's like 69, 70 degrees. And yes, I'm in a t-shirt and thin pants. I am not at gap. I am not ever going to be at gap. In the winter, I wear the jacket. If I crash, I crash. In 25 years, I crashed once, and it's because I was driving like an idiot. I was riding way too fast, and thank goodness I was wearing that leather jacket, because the pads in the elbows, I judo rolled across the road a couple times, and the pads in the elbows of that jacket absolutely saved my backside. Well, it saved my elbows. The padding in the shoulders saved my shoulders. I rolled the elbows to shoulders. What I did was I just kind of created a cage like this and just rolled on it. And my knees took a little bit of a beating, but not bad. But that was completely me riding like an idiot, you know. I've had a couple of close calls. People almost run into me, that kind of stuff. Whatever. You know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Will gear help? Yes, for sure. Will I still heal? I don't heal like I used to, but I still heal better than most 30-year-olds. So, I'm fine. Anyway, yeah, Grandpa's Harley's back. I'm going to put it up for sale. I've got a couple of guys might be lightly interested in it. One guy that's interested, but doesn't want to pay for it, so I'm not giving it away for free. That's certainly a thing. This engine doesn't have quite the horsepower that the other one had, but honestly, you can barely tell. It's doing 90% of what that other one did. And if I was out racing people for pinks on the weekends, yeah, I'd need that extra 15 horsepower. I don't do stuff like that though, so. Anyway, yeah, eBay engine, 3,200 bucks later, it's running. I'll be honest, sitting like this isn't half bad. And I've been tempted to just keep the thing. I'm kind of out right now. Really what I'm doing is just putting miles on it. I want to make sure this engine's good. I mean, there's not really a lot I can do about it if it's not. Please don't go. I don't want to have the hard brake. Thank you. I don't want to sell it and then have the engine blow up, you know, and I only put 30 miles on it. I only put 30 miles on it, and I didn't check it out and test it properly and all that. But yeah, I took it over to Adventure Center. They put the engine in for me. I took it over to the Harley dealership. They I really shouldn't be talking this much. My voice is still just not quite there. Took it over the Harley dealership. It had the stage 2 racing tune for the high compression engine. The intake is a high flow intake. It's the intake off of Grandpa's motor. The exhaust is a Thunder Hitter 2-into-1, and it is a high flow, completely open. It's basically just a really long tailpipe, which is why it's so stinking loud. And you know, I've been so angry about having to spend this money, and I've had nothing nice to say about Harley Davidson. But I'm going to tell you, the way this sounds right now, I love it. It sounds awesome. It's got that deep throaty rumble that you want out of a Harley. It doesn't have the high poppy cracking. It's just not doing that. It just sounds great. I love the way this sounds. Oh, jeez. Oh, man, I'm going to want to keep it again. So, I'm definitely going to drag my feet on selling it. So, anyway, oh, man. That spot where they pulled that tooth is still a bit sore. It's not, you know, sharp pain. It's just kind of sore. Anyway, yeah. Keep rolling with what you were saying, dude. Took it over to Harley. It had the stage 2 racing tune. It had that. bad. I don't want to abuse it, but I do want to kind of put it through the paces and make sure everything's okay. Like I said, I don't want to sell it and then it blows up and like, geez, John, why'd you sell me a piece of junk? Well, no, I took it out and tested it. I put a few hundred miles on. I'm going to put a few hundred miles on it and then change the oil and the filter. Ooh. And make sure that it doesn't have shavings and crap in it. Anyway, yeah, it had the stage 2 for the high compression engine. This is the intake and the exhaust and all the chrome off of Grandpa's motor. And with the high flow intake and the Thunderheader exhaust, they could not put the stock tune back in it for this motor. So what they did was the appropriate thing is the stage 1 racing tune. So that cost an additional $216. It's worth it to me to make sure that the thing is right. I don't want to spend $3,000 on a motor and putting it in and then burn the damn thing up in a few hundred miles because it wasn't tuned properly, you know. Especially since I'm considering selling it. I'm heavily gonna sell it. I don't want to hand it off to the next person. It's just not tuned right. It does two things. One, it makes a liar out of me because I'm so, yeah, it's fine. You know, you're not going to tell them, well, it's got the wrong tune in it. They're not going to buy it. Nobody's going to buy it. So I don't want to be a liar, and I don't want to be a thief, and I don't want to be a cheat, and I don't want to look like an idiot. Because if I do lie and say, oh, yeah, I thought it was fine, then I look like a dumbass who didn't know what he was talking about. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do any of that. I try to be fair, forthright, and honest in all my business dealings, and I try to make sure that everybody got their value. Me first and them too, you know? That's just what I try to do. Yeah, maybe I'll ride up and see Dad for a minute. Doing the speed limit through here. So anyway, yeah, they put the stage 2 tune in it. Really cool. Flash it. $216 later. That's where I get the 3,200. It's about $3,100 total. So I think I paid $1,900 for the motor. I paid $1,100. Yeah, 32. Paid $1,150 for the. She looked a lot like Tanya. I put. Yeah, it was $1,900. Like. Yeah, $1,900 for the engine. It was $1,150 to put it in, and then it was $209 or $206 or whatever it was to have it tuned properly. So it's about $3,200. That's the number we're going to say from now on. Even if I'm not right, I'm still going to say $3,200. Isn't Oildale lovely? Just a beautiful, beautiful part of town there. So just like that, you're up to 45, 50 miles an hour. It pulls, man. It pulls real good. I mean, like I said, you can't hardly tell much of a difference. You can tell the difference. If you had ridden it before and you rode it now, you would definitely be able to tell the difference. There is a little less horsepower, there's a little less torque, there's a little less go to it when you really get on it. That little thing back on Golden State, that's the second time I've opened it up. It backfires a lot more, not backfires, whatever that popping noise is, that compression popping. It does that a lot more now than it did before, I will say that. So yeah, got all that that stuff done, it's riding good. It's actually riding really good. The other consideration I've had on it is the possibility of ordering from Shade Tree Fabricators. I'm rolling in a picture here. This is not my bike. This is somebody else online. I don't think I would do the Springer front end just because I don't want to do it. But that seat, I love that seat, that bobber seat. There's the tight fender on the back and the tight fender on the front, and that little crossbar brace, and then like the Model T stoplight on the on the side with the license plate. I think that would be really cool. I think that would be really cool. It would lighten the bike up considerably. I think I could shed about probably close to 150. I don't think 200 pounds, maybe 100, 150 pounds, somewhere in there. I've thought about doing that too and just keeping it. The little red bike is an around town bike, and that's all I probably will ever use it for. I'm never going to set it up for any kind of touring. I'm never going to take it on any kind of touring rides. No long trips. I might go up into the mountains a little bit here and there, but nothing like I did on the BMW. This is a really hard turn. And this bike does not corner worth a crap because it's Harley. Excuse me. I like the turn signals on this. If you want to turn left, you push this button, and then you push it again to cancel it. After you lean so far, it will start to time out. Other than that, it will time out anyway on a longer time period. This one turns the other one, and it turns it off. You just turn it on, blink, 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 and turn it off. No blink. Kind of like that. It's really just stupid simple. It's easy. And that's one thing I've always said about this bike, except for the uncomfortable seating position. This bike is really easy to ride. I was looking through the billing, and Grandpa had like an easy pull lever thing on the clutch installed before he even took delivery on it. And I think that was really smart. But the clutch is super easy to pull on it. It's super easy to let out. I like where it lets out. It's comfortable enough. The handlebars are just in the right place. These risers had the handlebars setting forward about 3/4 of an inch when I got it from Grandpa, and I adjusted them back to be closer to me. The handlebars are right where they need to be. I even like the width of them, except for it's hard to filter. It's really hard to lane split because they're so wide. I've hit mirrors on cars, lane splitting, I think 4 times now. Just a little tap, and 3 of those 4 times was on this bike. So, and it's always embarrassing when you have to stop and, are you okay? No, I'm looking at your thing. You know, do you need information? Do you want me to fix this? It's not scuffed or anything. It's more, it just knocked my mirror out of whack. And no, we're okay every time so far. No, we're okay. Please be more careful. Yes, I will. So I don't lane split on this bike unless I just absolutely have to, because of that. When I first got it, between 35 and 50 miles an hour, the handlebars had kind of a wobble, and I've noticed that there are a lot of weights on the front wheel. When the back tire got worn out enough, and let me tell you, I never broke traction on a motorcycle so often as I did with this one, with the whatever those bar and shield tires are that Harley puts on them. terrible grip on those. This bike could not corner. To save my life, it could not corner. I had these I think these are Dunlops. I can't remember. I'll roll in a picture of it. When I had the back one put on, I went down, I went right around the corner, I came right back. I said, all right, do the front one. And Brento had them put the front tire on there too, and they put Dynabeats. And at any speed, this thing is smooth. I'm hands-free right now. The shimmy that was going on there is gone. It doesn't do that anymore. Not even close to it. It's been absolute butter ever since. The bike handle's great. These tires are the right amount of longevity with the right amount of stickiness. They stick to the road really well. And before, I could not lean this bike over far enough to scrape the floorboards. With the Harley tires, I could not lean this bike over far enough to scrape the floorboards without the tires wanting to kick out, and you could feel the bike starting to slip. So yeah, that was terrible. Now I can get in it hard and drag the floorboards all I want. I don't want to, so I don't, but you know what I mean. And I have touched them, I have dragged them. My feet kind of rest. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. My feet kind of rest outside of the floorboards anyways, especially my shifting foot. I put the heel way out there. Let's stop this thing. Let's stop this pig. I'm gonna pull over here just for a second. Oh man. Piss these people off. They'll be mad. Why are you parked in front of my house and letting your bike run? This thing has kind of shifted a little bit. Oh, yeah, my lower back is not. My lower back is not digging that at all. It's on the little red bike. You're sitting there, and yeah, what a good looking bike. It is a good looking bike, guys. It is a really good looking bike. That helped my back too. My backside was starting to roll off the cushion back onto the other seat and onto the actual seat. And it was not comfortable. I was holding myself up. Now I'm sitting there again. Oh, I thought there was a stop sign here. It was Boise Street. Boise Street. And just so you know, this is kind of the route I was on when I burned the motor up. And on the SD card in this camera, I have footage of riding it when that happened. Oh man, so aggravated at the gas station. This is Columbus. We're right by Grandma and Grandpa's apartments. They're Carol's apartments now. Anyway, yeah, just go out and put some miles on this thing. Make sure it's going to be righteous before I sell it. There's kind of a weird howling noise at idle. As soon as you rev it a little, it goes away. I don't know what that is. I'm going to probably stop by tomorrow and ask Kevin about it. What the heck is that noise? Should I be worried? I don't know. I think this guy's waiting for me to go around him, and I'm not really gonna do that. Using my back brake. I'll tell you what, I was talking about how easy the clutch is on this thing to operate, and it is. but it is nowhere near as easy as that Royal Enfield. But then of course this thing's got a big old giant flywheel and big heavy motor with all that torque, and there's a reason it's heavy. That Royal Enfield, oh, that thing is a sweet bike. It's even easier to ride than this, to be honest. It's easier to balance. It's a lot easier to balance. It's a better seated position even for me, and I'm kind of too big for it. Not really too big for it, I just feel too big for it. I feel too big for a lot of stuff in life. There's just nothing you can do about that. Anyway, yeah, that bike is way easier to ride. It's a lot less expensive to maintain too. I think I mentioned in the first service video for that bike, you know, a full service for that bike's like 150, 200 bucks. It's like 500 and some dollars for this bike, so the BMW was even more. And down the road I can do that service myself, all of it. Not, you know, there's some stuff in this, and the big service for this, that there's some things in the big service on this that require specialized tools that I don't have, and I don't want to go buy them, so I'm kind of stuck because of that, going to the dealership, and I really don't know how to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do any of the services on any of them. I just want to ride them. I just want to ride them. When I was in my 20s, I did all that mechanicking stuff and wrench twisting, and yeah, I don't want to do that no more. I don't want to do it for a living, and I have to do it for a living. I certainly don't want to do it in my off time. I don't want to wrench on anything I own. Oh, if you don't wrench on your bike, you're not a real biker. Okay, I'm not a real biker. Yeah, whatever. Motorcycle trips all over Southern California, motorcycle trips halfway across the United States, tens of thousands of miles over 25 years on all kinds of bikes. If you don't wrench on it, you're not a real biker. That's cool, no worries, then I'm not a real biker. Then I'm not a real biker. Yeah, the battery's probably dead on this thing anyways. I don't know why I'm still talking. Anyway, I don't really have a point. I don't know why. I'm just riding the bike and sharing with you, and kind of where I'm at right now. The rage of spending the money is over. I'm not still angry about it. I'm angry about it still. I didn't want to spend that money, especially on that. The idea was to sell this bike and pay the other one off, and now I'm going to sell this one to pay half of that bike off and pay this off. What I just did. Absolutely aggravating. Absolutely aggravating. But, you know, what are you going to do? I don't like that. I like downshifting, and that other engine didn't back pop like that. So apparently the little module in the box thing is so that you can fine tune your tune. It's not bass tunes in that thing. It's so that your laptop can talk with a program to the computer in this thing. Okay, you know. I'm wondering if that's something I can do, is adjust something so that it doesn't do that backfiring poppy noise when you're slowing. I do not know. And I never will. I'm not going to do it. It's too much like wrenching. I just don't want to. I'll adjust my riding style for this bike until it's sold. I really cannot wait to not have this thing hanging over my head anymore. Get the engine paid off. Basically, I put it on a credit card. I don't like doing that, but I put it on a credit card. I got to pay it off now. Yeah, I don't know what that howling noise is. So I thought about doing the bobber thing. I don't know. It'd be good for an around town bike. I mean, it does look cool. It is a cool looking bike. It did look cool with that bobber stuff done to it. I think it'd look even cooler with the Springer thing, but I'm not going to do that either. It's too much. So you couldn't do that before. That friggin' the tires just couldn't handle that. Had a lot of adventures on this bike. Did that Mulholland ride with it. I've been over to the coast a few times on it. I tell you what, these idiots have got this city so tore up. They have got this place so tore up. Look at how tore up this is. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, the streets are just destroyed. But I didn't want to find out the hard way. There's something in the road there. Yeah, I don't even know if it's still recording. I'll get something to drink, set for a little bit.